Ja, Jan, wo ist Jason Scott?
Jason Scott ist da vorne.
Sollen wir mal hingucken?
Mhm.
Da ist Jason Scott. Warum ist Jason Scott nicht da, Jan?
Weil er nicht wusste, dass man in New York nicht sofort in den Flieger steigen kann.
Ja, dass man auch 2 Stunden durch New York braucht, wenn man am anderen Ende ist.
Ja, New York
Flughafen.
ist nämlich keine Stadt, sondern ein Staat.
Ja.
Welcome to a Europapremiere today, and there is an American guy on the screen drinking a Red Bull, which is an Austrian product.
I discovered the hard way that it takes an hour and a half to go 2 blocks in New York City in a car when you're heading towards the Holland Tunnel. That's what I call it, the hour-long trailer. The actual film is something like 2 and something hours and is interactive. It branches in different directions, depending on which way you want it to go in the story. And this is a version that I say is for people who both care and don't care about the subject. And so the movie's coming out on a DVD. I guess I'll mention that now in case people jump out before whatever. So this is the packaging for the DVD, which is, as usual, I like to go crazy about packaging, so this one actually turns into a full, let me get that right. There you go. So it's got a painting that I had done with lots of adventure stuff on it. Did a virus bubble come up? I heard people giggling.
It was spam.
Oh, even better. Here's the other side. It's not as easy to make out. Right here I have a picture of where the actual maze of twisted little passages begins. I had a coin minted. So there's a GitLab coin, and on the other side it's got an individual number, and it's made of gold and silver. And so when you buy one, you get an individually numbered coin. Gotta do something, right? It's very difficult to torrent a coin yet. And a quick shout out to Adventure-Treff. I'm getting that wrong, aren't I? Who am I getting wrong?
Adventure-Treff. Adventure-Treff, yeah. They're here.
Woo! I knew those guys were really, there were a few people who made a lot of, wanted to really go to this and made a lot of effort to come out to see this specifically. And they were part of the reason I went completely against my nature and released this MP4 in the hands of people so that it could be shown to them. Just so you know.
So we all
the Hollywood version of movie making is to push the product as fast as possible to the widest amount of people so that you'll make the most money quickly enough before people realize it sucks. I like to think that a movie like this appeals very strongly to a very specific set of people who will absolutely love it, and they're not going to be many. They're going to be in the tens of thousands as opposed to the millions, and that's fine. And for those people, they know that there's one guy behind it, and they're going to see the movie, and they're going to buy the product, knowing that it helps me. This is the only way now that I am making money. As of last September, I am doing this full time. But the film is Creative Commons. So the instant it's out there, people can duplicate it. That's part of the license. It's Creative Commons license. I didn't want to be acting like copyright was working for me, because it doesn't. It'll get duplicated, and people who don't care as much about the subject will kind of download it and watch it and be like, oh, that was pretty good, and move on to the next thing. But there's people who believe in what I'm doing and want me to do more, and that will help me do it. The price helps me pay for all the production time. I did about 85 interviews, traveled around the country, got a bunch of people, worked on it for a few years. So now $40 is $40. There's a point in the film when you see something very special to people who are into adventures. It's a place, and when I was there, I was like, wow. It took me a year to get there, a year of work, and when I got there, I was like, all right. And I was with that.
Any questions for Jason right now? No? Okay.
Why there isn't a lamp in there? Why not?
Yeah, is there a lamp with it too?
I thought about that. Well, what the heck? What I was looking at originally was you get a little tiny lamp with it. And then I thought, that's really stupid. Turns out to be pretty good. I thought about with the Lux pack, you get something and something, and then you get an actual lamp. And I suppose I could sell one of those, but it would be stupid. It'd be cute, I guess in some way it'd be to support me, but man, I like to make every package the deluxe package. I'm not really big on okay, and now here's a completely ludicrous package for 5 of you. So so no, I didn't. I was thinking, but everything I do with this thing, I think through, and I don't throw every idea out. But the lamp thing seemed to make no sense.
We already interviewed you once, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And one question is that you said in our interview that you didn't want to make this documentary job your primary job because you didn't want it to be dependent on financing and on deadlines. And now you do this as your primary job at the moment. So my question would be, was there any special event that may change your mind?
There were 2 things. First of all, my main job became awful. I've been assistant administrator for a customer for about 10 years, and it had been really a nice job. And that customer moved away because they're slowly dying, and the company assigned me to a new customer who was awful. I mean, awful. I did a 48-hour support call. And so I was like, okay, if this is the way things are now, goodbye. And I really didn't want to go back into that. So I said, okay, let me make a go at least taking time off. But the academic world, at least in America, moves rather glacially towards bringing you in. So while I have some lines in on maybe becoming an archivist or a teacher or something, it just takes months. I might be at a regular job, by next year again. But for the moment, that's my thought.
Okay. I realized that you made a video with MC Front a lot,
yes.
which is actually about the song. It's pitch dark, I think. How was this realized? And the second question would be, will this also be on the DVD? This video?
Well, it'll most certainly be on the DVD. The way that it came about was that I had kind of known of MC Front a lot through a number of people, and I made a deal with him, which was, I'll make a music video for you for free if you write a song about Textadventures. And so he said, okay. And since then we've become buddies, we've done a lot of work with each other, and I have another video that I have to finish with him that has Jonathan Colton in it, and so on. So it kind of became this kind of I'll do a video with you, and you don't have to pay, and I'll get your song. And it was a really good song, enough that he still plays it in concerts, and people sing along, and I'm like, oh God, glad I was a part of that. So that's where that came from. I hope it was worth the miles for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bring it to your cat.
A lot of your documentary was very American, and
Absolutely.
I was missing especially British contributions.
It really tests the limits for me to try to really properly tell the story of scenes that I had I can't speak the language of. I can't do the interview, right? I have to do it through an interpreter. I knew that this thing was going to be vaguely North American centric. The documentary is more about text adventuring than about specific games. Infocom dominates mostly because I had so many Infocom people. But the story that I tell is trying to show that these games existed and kind of what goes around there. But there will always be missing things. For instance, I really give short shrift to Sierra Online. As for Inform, is this being recorded? recorded?
I think yes. Yeah.
Damn it!
I'd like to ask, you mentioned before, but I think it was kind of sad that Willie Crowther wasn't in the movie.
Willie Crowther made this game for his daughters because his wife had fallen in love with another paver and left him, and they had gotten divorced. And while trying to reconnect with his daughters, he made this little dumb game in about 2 months and showed people it and kind of used the cave he had been part of. But then he never went back to the caving community again. And for him, it's this painful little thing that he put together as a desperate divorcee in the 1970s. And then there's assholes like me in the 21st century, like, let's talk about that.